Welcome back to the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Today we're going to do our Week 14 game picks. We're getting toward the end of the season. Playoff seeds are starting to iron out. People are trying to win their divisions and get to the wild card. Lots of fun stuff happening. But first, Lance, it's the Christmas season. It's snowing where I'm at right now. Well, at least it snowed all day yesterday. We got a ton of snow out here. So I got a question for you.
Hmm.
What do you call a Christmas wreath made out of $100 bills?
I don't know.
Aretha Franklin's.
You've got too much time on your hands, Andrew.
I love me a good dad joke. At work, I get so many groans and complaints, and I just smile. I'm like, "Yep, I'm doing my job."
Well, at least someday your kids can take over and being the ones to be asked that question.
Yep, and my oldest, he is a fan of dad jokes as well. He turned 16 today. Happy birthday.
Really? Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
Yep,
which, we should still bring him on the podcast sometime.
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
why not? So,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That'd be fun. Okay. Are we ready to dig into week 14 here?
yeah, yeah.
All right, let's start with Thursday night football. This is going to be a fun game. Cowboys at Lions. And I just love that the way the schedulers did this year with both these teams playing on Thanksgiving and then they play Thursday night football the next week. That way they can get a full week of rest and preparation. I love that. I love that. Don't make them have a short week or eat that extended week onto Sunday. Have them be the Thursday night game. That's awesome. So the Cowboys are on a little bit of a win streak. And as you know, they're not too far off from first place in the division. I still think it's a little too far for them, but I don't think they believe that. I think they are right there. That tie, I think, though, is going to be what does it for them. That tie hurts. If they would have won that game against the Packers, I would be thinking, whew, they got a shot here. But that I think that tie is going to make him just a little bit short. But Dak Prescott's playing really well. He's got 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, they're going against a Lions defense that isn't great. It's fine, but it's not great. Kirby Joseph's going to be out this game, so that's going to hurt that defense. And I have to say, I've been impressed with the Cowboys defense of late with the additions of Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson. They've been stopping the run. I think I heard that Quinnen Williams is the number one ranked defensive lineman for stopping the run, like PFF grades and some analytics or something like that. So he's been really good for him, and they're going against one of the best run teams. So this is strength on strength. This is going to be fun with Jameer Gibbs, Dave Montgomery. That Lions O line is still good. They're not great, but they're still good. I think the key here, though, is Amon-Ra St. Brown got hurt in that last game. They're saying he's a game time decision, but I don't think he plays. And even if he does play, he's not going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to be, what, 80%, 85%? And I think that is the key to this game. I have the Cowboys winning this game. I don't, normally I wouldn't pick them to win hardly any game this year, but they're on a win streak. They're playing well. They got the Lions at the right time, dealing with some injuries. I have the Cowboys winning. I have a confidence of three, just a three, but I'm going Cowboys. I don't know. Just something feels different here. And just a little spoiler alert, I went kind of wild this week. A lot of upsets. I just thought it's time to have some fun. I'm not winning this group that we're in at all. I'll be lucky not to get last place. So let's have some fun here. So I'm going Cowboys.
Why not double down on making bad decisions, right, Andrew?
Hey, you never know.
Um, I, I'm on the opposite boat. I'm going to go Lions by three. I do get what you're saying. I acknowledge those factors. Um, the Lions lost a really tough game last week. And
Hmm.
if they have any hope of winning the division, they'll need to win um, I think the game being at home is a big factor. And I honestly liked the way the Lions offense looked last week. I just felt like um, their defense was the part I was more concerned about. Um,
Hmm.
I just felt like they could never quite stop the Packers. The Packers always seemed to just be one pace ahead, and that was really the ultimate deciding factor for them. But we'll see. I mean, there's some fourth. Dan has got to work on this.
Right?
When do you go for it on fourth down? You
Not every
can't go
single
for it.
time.
Well, don't tell him that
Hmm.
because he's going to be like, "I'll show you." Yeah, that's right. You will show me how to not get a first down.
Yeah. Yeah. Him and
Um,
KOC are the exact opposite. KOC hardly ever goes for it on fourth down. And when he does, just like Dan, he calls a bad play. And Dan goes for it all the time on fourth down, even when he shouldn't. They kind of need to have a discussion in the offseason and meet in the middle somewhere.
yeah, I think that would be a good idea. So I don't know. It's that's the only part I'm concerned about for this game for the Lions. I still like the Lions overall. I still think they're a good team.
Yeah,
Um,
they are.
I just think the way it matches out too. I know it's silly. It's silly to say it doesn't matter if they won or lost recently. I do think that there is some factors into that. Like here's for example, do I think the Rams lose to the Panthers if the Rams don't win big the week before? No. I don't think the Rams lose. I think that they are more aware, woken up, fully conscious of how important the game is. But sometimes, you just come off really big highs and you're prime for a big low of a game. Um, but you know, we can't rewrite the past. So much for ifs and what would really happen. But I'm going to pick the Lions for this one.
Okay. All right. Next up on ESPN's schedule is the Commanders Vikings. But since the Eagles play on Monday night, I think we'll save that to last as well. I think we'll skip that one for now.
Hmm.
Let's move on to Seahawks at Falcons. So Seahawks coming off that shutout against Minnesota, which we've talked about a ton. So we won't get into the past. Don't no need to worry about that. Um, but what I will say is Sam Darnold, I think, might be getting a smidge, just a smidge overhyped because he still only has 19 touchdowns to 10 picks, and he had two
Yeah.
plays last week that were easy interceptions if the defender just got their head around in time. I think I talked about one where Byron Murphy Jr. There was a pass that Sam Darnold overthrew his receiver just a little bit. Receiver got his fingertips on it, and it landed right in the breadbasket of Byron Murphy Jr. But he just didn't know it was coming, and it hit him. And then after it hit him, he got his arms out, hit the ground. If he catches that, that's a pick six. And I mean, Sam Darnold was throwing those, and he was bad with pressure in his face. And the Falcons like to bring that pressure. They do like to bring that heat, but Seahawks defense is just too good. To me, right now, top defenses would be I would still give the Broncos one, Texans two, and then three, four, Packers, Seahawks, flip a coin. I mean, those to me are the top four defenses in this league right now. And I feel pretty strongly about that. Um, Kirk Cousins is going to have a rough day. Bijan's going to do his best to kind of get going, but I don't think it's going to be near enough. And I think that JSN is going to have a big game this week because
Mm.
Minnesota shut him out pretty much, and they still want him to break that record. So I think he's going to get a ton of looks, a ton of targets. This is one of those pretty easy ones. I have the Seahawks win with a confidence of 13.
Okay. Um, I think I'm feeling slightly different. I went with Seahawks with a confidence of 7. And the only question I have is Falcons defense is all right. And so do they take the game script that was put together by the Vikings to slow down JSN? Um,
Mm.
I think this is also a fair question, Andrew. And this is nothing against Justin Jefferson, but I kind of wonder in my head is right now JSN better than Justin Jefferson? Or is it schematic? You know, is it scheming that's getting things
There's
different?
multiple factors, I would say. I would say talent-wise, I would still put JJ above him, but not by a lot. But I would still put JJ above him. There's multiple factors. Scheming is one, and two, quarterback play is pretty obvious. I mean, when Sam Darnold was throwing for Justin Jefferson last year, Jefferson outside his, I think he got hurt. I think last year's the year he got hurt. No, it wasn't last year. It was before.
It was 2 years
But
ago, right? Yeah.
yeah, Jefferson played extremely well, and um, with Geno Smith, I know they still had DK, but JSN didn't really do a whole lot last year. He was fine, but it wasn't this. So I think it's multiple factors. No, don't get me wrong, JSN is a phenomenal talent. He is so smooth when he gets the ball in his hands, but I would still give the edge as far as a better overall receiver to Jefferson, but not by a whole lot. JSN's definitely top 10 now, at least pure wide receiver talent.
I would say
Maybe
top
even like
five.
top five. It's
Yeah.
possible. I could hear that argument. I mean, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, I might between him and CeeDee Lamb, it's close. I might give the edge to JSN, but CeeDee Lamb is in that conversation, even though he hasn't had the best of years. He's still in that conversation. You still have to double him every single time. And I would put
Mm,
Drake London in that conversation as well. He's been really
mm,
good this year. But
mm.
yeah, Jason's right in that ballpark. I think he's in that next tier. Oh, we also got to put Amar St. Brown. I'd pick St. Brown over at JSN still as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
see him 2 times a year and he is just really hard to stop.
hmm Yeah, that's fair. I guess the part I was just thinking about was, um, or maybe the Seahawks have just been better at scheming to make Sam Darnold look better. But even that's tough because I think that, looking at the stats with the interception issues, it's kind of like, yeah, I guess my overall point was is I'm losing semi-confidence in the Seahawks because of Sam Darnold.
Hmm.
I just think that it's looking more problematic. I mean, again, if Jason Myers, their kicker, doesn't go out there and have an amazing day, um, it could have been a very different ball game. If he misses a couple of those kicks, if they get blocked, if they get returned for touchdown, those little things can lead to huge momentum swings. And I can't remember how many kicks that Jason Myers attempted on Sunday, but uh,
It was at least four.
yeah, I think it was more than four. I think it was
They
six.
scored 26 points. They only had one touchdown. So that's 19 points in field goals.
That's insane. That is so many tries.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Um, I don't know. But back to my original conversation, I think the Seahawks win, but I think it's going to be a little closer than that. I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but we'll see.
Yeah, I just trust the Seahawks defense and Falcons just
Mm.
lost to the Jets. So I'm going 13 there. But I do hear you, and it's division. No, it's not a division game, but it could be because it's two birds. All right, next up, this one could be interesting as well. Bengals at Bills, or as you call them, the Bungles.
Oh, can
Um,
I share something with you, Andrew?
yes,
Uh, I feel like the AFC North is the rightful crown owners of the NFC least.
this
Um,
year for sure. I can hear that this year. Yeah.
so I have come up with four nicknames for all four teams.
Okay. Let me hear it.
So the first one is, as you said, the Cincinnati Bungles because they bungle everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, that's been such a hard time for them. But the Cleveland Frowns,
Mm.
that one makes me laugh quite a bit because
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and the Pittsburgh Stumblers.
Okay.
Um, oh, where did I put the Steelers nickname? Um, where was oh uh, the Pittsburgh Spudders? That's right.
Okay. Pittsburgh Spudders.
Just
Now what
based
about
off the fact that
Baltimore?
the oh, did I not say the Baltimore one? No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I had them all right here, Andrew, and then I seem to misplace them. I'm just trying to see where I put them in my notes. That's right. Sorry, I just found it. The Baltimore Quavens,
Quavens. I
because
think
they're
I like the
shaking all the
frowns the
time.
best. I think
Yeah,
I like the frowns the best. That one's good.
the Cleveland Browns. I don't know. I like the Cincinnati Bungles quite a bit. But anyway, I felt like, and I forgot to tell you that they're the AFC North, which is the Timu parody of the AFC North, because none of them are bringing their A games this year. This is all C level talent right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, even with the Bungles, they're technically still in line to win the division at 4-8 because of how bad that division is.
Yeah, their divisional record's really, really good right now. But yeah, so moving forward, these are the nicknames I will refer to these teams as. Oh,
And they're not.
you there, Andrew? That was weird.
I know it froze and it kicked me out.
Yeah, your face just went straight for like, I don't know, at least a minute. Anyway,
Yeah, and I
I,
and I saw yours like this.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I've decided that I'm going to refer to these teams as these names from now on for the rest of the season because of how bad they have all been. So,
That's fair. That's
and
fair.
choose to like them, choose to not. That's fine.
Hmm.
But I loved the parody names and the Cleveland Browns, man. When I saw that, I was like, okay, that's good too. That one's
Hmm.
good. Um, but yeah. So
We're about to
anyway,
talk about two teams back to back, starting with the Bungles. Um, so I have to admit, last week I felt like I had the right take and yet the wrong take with that Bengals and Ravens game because I was saying that Joe Burrow first game back, I didn't think he should be playing, and he still shouldn't be, kind of in a way. But I respect his will to play because he's a football player. Um, but I kind of thought he was gonna have an okay-ish game, not a great game, which overall it was. He was like barely over 50% completions, and the offense wasn't like crushing it. It was the Bengals defense that out of nowhere forced like five turnovers. Lamar Jackson had two fumbles lost and an interception. I would have never have guessed that. Not the Bengals defense, but they ended up winning because of those five turnovers, not because of Joe Burrow. But I think with this marquee matchup, Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen, I think both quarterbacks are going to come to play this game. Josh Allen's playing a not great defense. Joe Burrow's playing a average defense, average to above average, but not great as well. And of course, Joe Burrow has much better weapons. So I think this is could be a semi track meet in a way. The total is
mm,
53 and a half as far as the over under, and I agree with that. I wouldn't be surprised if it went over. Because I think this is going to be one of those games. Hey, I'm better than you. Watch me do this. And the next quarterback says, "Oh yeah, watch me do this." I think this is going to be back and forth, a ton of fun. It's at Buffalo, and Buffalo is the better team. But I think this is going to be close. I do have Buffalo winning with a confidence of 9,
mm.
but this is going to be fun. I think this could go either way because, as we've seen, the Bills aren't really that juggernaut team that they've been in the past. They're beatable, but they are the better team, so I'm going Buffalo.
I'm going Buffalo with a confidence of 4, and I think you already laid out all the reasons that well there right now.
Hmm.
The Bengals are in an uphill battle. I mean, 4-8, and you're trying to win the division. It's just things
Yeah.
have to go perfectly. And the other part is too is they don't have enough games left against the Ravens or the Steelers to win
Hmm.
to get in a winning spot. They need the Bengals and Steelers or the Ravens and Steelers to both stumble several more times.
They play each
Um,
other this week, so that's helpful. One of them is going to lose.
it's true. You'll gain a little ground. But
Hmm.
there's no path to the playoff for them if it's not the division. It's
I agree.
division or nothing.
Yeah, 9-8's not getting you a wild card.
Yeah, not this year.
No, don't see it. All right, next up, Titans at the Frowns. Um, I just feel bad for the Titans because they don't really have a lot of talent and they've been fighting, they've been competing. Like I think last week, I forgot who they played, but I think they were in that game for a decent chunk. They just don't have the talent to win. I just, looking to next year, right now they have the number one overall pick, and if they get it, they need to trade out of that sucker because Cam Ward should be their quarterback at least for one more year. See what you got. And then if it doesn't turn out in 2 years, then you can start looking elsewhere. Same with JJ McCarthy, and we'll get into that. But you can't give up on a quarterback after 1 year. You have to play him for 2 years. Then you have a full evaluation. Well, at least more more evaluation than just giving up after 6 games. Talking to you Vikings fans. But so if they get that first pick, they need to trade out of it, get themselves a ransom. Um, they've been in some close games with some good teams, and I think this game could be it's two teams aren't very good, so I think it's going to be competitive. It's going to be close. They're going against a really good defense, so I'm assuming that Myles Garrett's probably going to have 3 or 4 sacks because that's just what he does. But the Browns' offense, it's not great. Shadur Sanders, eh, I don't think he's it, but they're going to keep trotting him out there. What's interesting, and I don't know what's going on in Cleveland, but they opened up the 21-day practice window for Deshaun Watson. Okay, I guess they want to see what they have in him again. I don't know what's going on over there, but the only player that I truly believe in is Quinshawn Judkins. He is a really good running back. He has almost 800 yards rushing, 7 rushing touchdowns. This is at Cleveland. But let's have some fun. I'm picking the Titans to get their second win, baby. I have trouble seeing a team only end the season with one win. And this is a game that they could win because they're not playing that tough of a team. The Browns get in their own way. I have the Titans, but only a confidence of one. But this is one of my upsets.
Andrew, the Shadur Sanders disrespect you're dishing out right now is just next level disrespectful. I he's clearly going to be the starter in Cleveland for the next, 15 years after everything we've seen so far. So I hope that you're ready to apologize for this next Monday.
I'll do this. I'll say I'm sorry.
I I just don't understand why the hype is getting so overblown. I know that the Shador
Hmm.
Sanders had okay numbers last week, and props to
It was
him.
fine. Yeah.
Props to him. His pass rating was respectable, and did all right. Numbers are okay. Um, but like I'm just saying, I'm waiting for the moment where I'm thinking to myself, "Wow, this guy was better than Jackson Dart," because that's the way some people are phrasing it right now. And you know what? I haven't thought, Andrew. I haven't thought that. I haven't thought, "Wow, he's better than Jackson
Hmm.
Dart." Um,
And
and
Jackson Dart has been one of those rare rookie quarterback seasons where it's not looking too big for him. Like he is looking like he is seeing things okay, not perfect, but he is playing better than you would expect out of a rookie quarterback, especially the past few classes. I mean, look at Caleb Williams last year. It wasn't great. Look at Bo Nix last year. It wasn't great. Their second year, they played better, but their first year, these really good quarterbacks, they didn't play all that well. Drake May last year, it didn't look all that great. This year it is. Got to give credit to Jackson Dart. It hasn't been that bad, honestly. It's been pretty decent.
well, I think the one part we have to acknowledge here is how translatable is the offense that you're on in college to the NFL.
Hmm.
And Jackson Dart played with Lane Kiffin. May he have the worst success at LSU they've seen in the past 25 years, Andrew. We can go down that rabbit hole if we want to, but I'm hoping that he's gone in 3 years and that the LSU um, university will be paying like $100 million per year for the next two or
Hmm.
three seasons after that as a nice little karma for everything that's happened.
Hmm.
But um, yeah, I mean, I've been really impressed by Jackson Dart, and I think it's because he had a good setup. He's played
Yeah.
in multiple universities. He was coached well. Kiffin is definitely a brilliant offensive mind. and that has helped out Dart with his development. The other part I was going to mention is Tyler Shook over in New Orleans. Like you look at his numbers, I,
They're pretty decent.
I mean,
They're
you,
not
you
bad.
compare them, to Sanders, and he's certainly not playing worse.
Hmm.
So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what the real again. I don't know what the realistic expectations are for him as a quarterback, but that's kind of the way I'm seeing things right now playing out. So back to the Cleveland Browns as the new team name until they're successful here on this
Hmm.
podcast. Um, I think they are going to win, and it's only because the Titans are just such a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
Um, I'd say there's one thing I'll give as a caveat to 2 years. I think they need to give it 3 years, and this is my argument.
that's fair.
If they find a coach they like that they really believe can develop Shador, which by the way they better get a new head coach. This idea that you're going to make your offensive coordinator the head coach and that he's going to prove everything and you keep him, you're just stumbling into the same kind of bad decision making that happened with your previous head coaching hire. That's just not going to work. Um, so they need to hire someone from outside the team that's had offensive success that can run the system. Um, and if they do, then I think that Cam has a chance.
Hmm.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. I mean, like a coaching hire I would not hate for the Tennessee Titans to hire is Mike McCarthy.
I
I
was
don't
thinking the same thing. I was literally about to say McCarthy.
I don't know if he's willing to go to a team like that that's in such disarray, but I do feel like he could
Hmm.
do the job. By the
Yeah,
way, on a
and
diff oh go ahead.
you go ahead. I
Uh
was just gonna say that the Titans' job isn't a horrible job to have with a young quarterback that, if you believe you can develop him, that's a good place to be on a rookie scale contract. They've got a couple receivers. I like Elick A. I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name, but I like Elick A. And they're going to have possibly the number one overall pick that you can trade and get a ransom and build the team you want from the ground up. It's not a bad place to be if you believe in in your system and what you're bringing.
yeah, I think the hard part is the number one pick is one of the hardest picks to trade.
Well, and the team that wants a quarterback, they're always desperate. Look at the Panthers a couple years ago. They gave the
Very
Bears a
true.
ton of stuff, and the Bears drafted really well with those picks. Got to give them credit.
Yeah. I don't know if trading the number one overall pick is a norm. I don't know if that's normal activity.
It's fair.
Um, so if they are, I think they're going to have to take a discounted offer. That's my guess. Something
Hmm.
that's maybe not quite as good as the Bears have. I just think the precedent matters, and the precedent right now is saying, at least in the recent few years, the number one pick is not tradable, but the number two, number three pick are tradable.
Well, I mean, if you look at a team like, just example, the Jets, we're going to talk about them soon. If they end up with the number four overall pick, but they really want the quarterback, they really want that quarterback from Indiana, Mendoza, um, trade up to the number one, send your second round pick this year, or maybe a second round pick next year, and go get the number one. That's a fair deal. Swap the one for four for two second round picks.
I guess so. I guess, but I mean, in my head, I don't know why I would be trading up. Broncos didn't trade up to get Bo Nix. That was worked out very, very well. The Patriots didn't trade up
Yeah.
to get Drake May. That's worked out very well.
Well, they had the number two pick.
But I'm just saying that right? But
Well,
they could
three,
have.
the three
I
pick.
think it was three. But they could have
Yeah.
traded up. They could have gone up to number one out of concern of
Well, that year, I don't know if that's a great example because there were a ton of quarterbacks that everyone
that's
loved,
true.
and you can get anyone you wanted. This year's draft, I think there might be two that people are saying are first round caliber talent. The main one being Mendoza. Um, but we'll see. I hear what you're saying. It's hard to trade that number one pick, but there's desperate teams. And look at the Jets organization. They're horrible. They'll do something.
I don't know. I like the direction Aaron Glenn is taking this team in.
The coach, yes, that was a good decision. And we'll get into that in our next game.
Oh, all right. Okay, let's do it. Did I give my confidence by the way
Okay.
for this game? I don't think
No,
I
you picked
did.
the Browns, but I don't think you give confidence.
I went with the Cleveland Browns confidence of 8, and it's just because of the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. Okay. Next up, we have the Dolphins at the Jets. Low key coach battle. As we said, I pick Aaron Glenn over McDaniel to lead your team. That's what I would do
Okay.
because I mean, I know both coaches are having their players play hard for them, but I've been more impressed with Aaron Glenn because he has no talent on this team. His best players are either gone or hurt, and yet they still go out and beat the Falcons. It was a tough game, but Tyrod Taylor made the plays he needed to make. He's a veteran quarterback that knows what he's seeing. So I just give Aaron Glenn so much credit. He has his team believing in him. So if they can get some talent on that team, they have a ton of draft capital now, a ton. So they need to draft well. If they do, who knows? I like Garrett Wilson. I like Brees Hall. They're going to be there next year, most likely. Garrett Wilson's under contract. I think Brees Hall's last year on the contract, but they should bring him back because he's a good player. Um, they need some defensive pieces, but they got draft picks to draft them. So I just like what they're doing. And on the Dolphin side, they've been winning lately. Give them credit. They're 5-7. They're technically not out of the playoff race because you can get in at 10-7. You can get a
Yeah.
wild card at 10-7. I don't see it for them, but they've been playing hard of late. Devon Achane is phenomenal. I think he's going to go off in this game because the Jets' run defense isn't all that great. So he's going to get a ton of looks, a ton of volume. But Tua's always known to have one of those games like, what are you doing? What are we doing, Tua? You're playing really well for 3 straight weeks, and then all of a sudden, it's like he has what a lot of people like to hear call the blue screen of death moments. And I'm just going to say he has that this game. I'm going to say that the Jets pull out a win here at home. Again, I'm going crazy. I'm going wild. This is my second upset pick. I have the Jets winning with a confidence of 2. Still not high confidence, but I'm going with the Jets. I was impressed with them beating the Falcons last week.
And I'm going with the Dolphins, a confidence of 10.
Oh, wow.
Um, I think this is a very winnable game for the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins
Hmm.
have the better team,
Yes.
and the Jets got their big win last week.
Okay.
I still don't believe in the winning aspect of the Jets. I thought the
Hmm.
Falcons were gettable last week. Um, there's just timing matters. Timing matters.
Yeah.
The Jets are coming off a big win. Um, it's hard to keep things rolling, and so I'm gonna pick the Dolphins. Dolphins are still desperate for a playoff spot. They are, let's be fair, they're playing desperate, and that has worked out to their advantage to this point. Now, when they start playing a real team, would they beat a real team? No, I don't believe that at all. But I think that they
Hmm.
are good enough to beat up on the bad teams.
The last thing I will say, which I forgot to mention this, is the past has been very bad to Tua in cold environments. And they're going up
This
to
is
New
true.
York in December. I don't know what the weather is. I don't know if it's snowing or not, but
Well,
um,
it's in New York City, right? Or New Jersey area. So it's not
yeah,
quite Buffalo. Those are different
right.
environments as far as weather.
True.
There is a
But it's
factor,
still going to be cold. And
but it's an
and
indoor stadium too, though.
is the Jet Stadium indoors?
Yeah,
Because don't
the
they play the
Giants and the
same one that
Jets,
the Giants?
isn't that indoors?
I don't
Yeah.
think so. Let me check because I'm curious
Hmm.
now. I am curious. Let me see.
Oh, is it open air? I thought it was an indoor stadium, but I guess I'm wrong.
I just remember so many Giants games in the snow.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I was thinking of.
but you're right. It is an outdoor stadium. I thought it was an indoor in my head. So
But we'll see what happens. Like I said, I'm having fun this week. There's always upsets every weekend. I haven't been able to pinpoint them, but I'm gonna keep throwing those darts. I'm gonna keep throwing those darts, see what happens.
yeah, what's being down by 500 points, Andrew? It's not a big deal.
Hey, it's barely 100 right now, and I'm just gonna say there are 5 weeks
Yeah,
left.
it was like 30 points at one point, and that lead has been continuing to
Yes,
expand.
you continuing about 7, 8 points every week. Yes, but you never know what might happen. And the only way I'm catching up is by picking teams opposite you. If we pick the same teams, you're guaranteed to win.
We could differ in confidence levels. Yeah, now we're going to switch the rules where you can switch up confidence as soon as you hear my confidence.
So there are some games that I might do that, but not those upset picks.
All right, we should
All
be
right,
buddies
moving
then.
onwards. Next up, we have the Saints at Buccaneers. I don't think we have to spend a ton of time here. Um, like we said, we like Tyler Shook. He's looked pretty good, but not great. Don't know if he's their future or not. I'm glad that they're continuing to trot him out there to see what they got. They're going to have a top four pick as well, so they might have the option to draft a quarterback, one of those two guys, if they truly see it, truly deem it possible. But I kind of think they should try Shook one more year next year, see what they can do, draft some good young talent around him because he's playing good enough. He's getting the ball to Olave. They need some more receiver talent. I like is it man, I can't remember his name. I picked him up in one of our fantasy leagues, but like Von Vele or something like that. The
Oh, from the
interesting name.
Broncos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been playing pretty decent lately. I like him. Um, Kamara's probably this is last year, I'm assuming, with the Saints. They're probably going with Devin Neal next year, and he played pretty decent. I kind of was thinking that that was a good draft pick in this draft for them out of Kansas, and he's been playing pretty decent. But overall, they're one of the worst teams in this league. Buccaneers are desperate for wins. They got a big win last week. Ibuka's playing really well. Bucky Irving came back and played fantastic for his first game back. They're bringing back Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan from IR. They're not playing this game, but they're going to be back eventually as well. I have the Buccaneers winning at home. They're the much better team. They're desperate to keep winning this division. I have this confidence of 11.
I have the Buccaneers winning confidence also of 11. Um, I do want to give a moment though on the Saints side. I honestly think it's incredible the Saints won any game with their current
Yeah.
makeup of their roster. And by the way, to anyone that's not been watching, go back and look at some of these scores. Saints have made some
Hmm.
teams sweat.
Yep.
Um, and I think that's complete props to Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore, last note, what are you doing,
Hmm.
man? Why did you leave Philly? We needed you this year. You are the reason we will probably
Hmm.
not go to a Super Bowl because, dude, if you were at the offensive controls, I think we would be doing much better. So that's the end of my heartfelt letter to my former offensive coordinator and person I've always been a big fan of because I've been a Boise State Broncos fan since he was at Boise State. So Kellen Moore, please come back.
I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon because, once you get a head coaching job, you got to take advantage. But I do hear what you're saying. He's been coaching really, really well. Okay. Next up, this one took me a while to pick. This is going to be one of the best games of the week, honestly. We've got some good ones, but this one's going to be a good one. Not necessarily because it's two great teams, but it's two teams fighting for first place in their division with
Mm.
good records. Colts at Jaguars. So for the Colts, man, they almost pulled out that win last week. They were fighting, they were close against the Texans, but they just couldn't get enough offense going. And credit to the Texans, they're coming back. They're one game back of the division lead. The AFC South is looking like a really good division all of a sudden. Two 8-4 teams and a 7-5 team fighting for first place. That's awesome. Daniel Jones has been slipping of late. He has that injury and pressure in his face. He's shown that he is prone to make mistakes, even though he played a pretty decent game against the Texans. I'll give him credit. It wasn't horrible. It was pretty decent. But when it was crunch time, whenever the game was tight and he needed to make a play, he just couldn't do it. And whenever they shut down Jonathan Taylor, it was in his hands, and he just couldn't come up with a win. So got to give the Texans credit. And Daniel Jones, 19 touchdowns, 7 picks. That's not awful, but that doesn't include his fumbles. And it doesn't include the amount of plays that could be turnovers.
Yeah.
So he's starting to struggle of late. And the Jaguars defense is pretty good. Got to give him credit. It's the better part of their team. But Trevor Lawrence is playing almost just as bad, maybe worse than Daniel Jones. So this
Yes,
is
I would say
this
right
is
now worse.
this is an interesting game where both defenses are pretty good. I'd probably give the edge to Jags for the defense. And then both quarterbacks aren't playing that well. I'd probably give the edge to Daniel Jones a little bit there. It's at Jacksonville, which is helpful. But the biggest piece to me is the running game. I like ETN. He's good, but he's not Jonathan Taylor. I know Taylor's been kept in check of late, but he is still the better running back. Um, I still believe the Colts are the overall better team just by a little bit. It's close. This game, like I said, I went back and forth on, but I am going to go Colts to get back on track to win this game, and I got this as a confidence of only 4.
Um, this game is super tough for me. Um,
Hmm.
I, mm, I I was feeling strong about one way, Andrew, but as we've been talking, it's been hard to think about what I
Can
want
we both
to what
agree that the Texans probably win this division somehow?
pending Stroud. Yes. Uh,
And that's crazy to think because they started the year so poorly.
well, I mean, but but this is like it goes back to the question I asked about the Buccaneers. Were they bad or were they victims of a really tough schedule? Or
Yeah,
was it both? And so
yeah.
I think multiple things can be true. I think they had a tough start, but
Hmm.
then they had tough slates. I mean, playing the Rams, I don't think anyone really realized how good the Rams were going to be in that week. I didn't.
Yeah,
Um,
and the Texans were very close to winning that game.
in the Buccaneers game,
Yep.
there's
If they just
several
stopped Baker
games that
Mayfield on
we,
fourth down, they would have won.
well, there's a lot of ifs, right? There's if this,
Yeah,
if that,
for sure.
and and that's the tough part is how much of the ifs matter. I'm going to stick
Hmm.
with my pick. I won't put the Colts. I'm going to stick with the pick of the Colts. The Colts have had a tough 3 week stretch. I think they bounce back here. I think they get the win. Um, one thing I am really surprised about, though, as I'm thinking about it, is are the Colts really going to re-sign Daniel Jones? Because it sounds like they might.
I don't know if they have another choice because they've had a lot of success and there's not really a lot out there. And Richardson isn't ready to play in the NFL. I don't think he's ever going to be.
He's
So what
never
else
going to
can they
be.
do? Yeah, what else can they do? I mean, they have a shot at playoff contention with Daniel Jones. With Anthony Richardson, they have a shot at a top 10 pick.
Top 10 pick it is. Let's get our next quarterback. I don't
You
know,
try
man. I
selling
just,
that to an owner of a team who wants to make money.
no, no, it's owners, Andrew. It's owners.
True.
Because, I think that's so interesting how they kind of like, I get it. They all the daughters want to be involved. But like the way
Hmm.
they announced that was kind of funny to me. Um, I don't know, man. This game is so tough because I
I
feel like
agree.
the Colts have shown some really good moments over the past weeks of showing fight but not finishing. Whereas the
Yeah.
Jaguars, they beat the Titans, which is like wonderful. You beat the Titans, and then they really struggled one against the Cardinals. They pulled it out, but
Hmm.
um, I think I'm gonna pick the Colts. I got a confidence of 2, so I'm not very confident, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna keep it. And the offense of the Jaguars, if it was a little better, it'd be easier for me to go ahead and pick
I
them.
agree.
But that's my holdback is I do think
Hmm.
that the Jags defense is awesome. In fact,
Yeah.
I I don't think the biggest gain that they've gotten this season has been the offense. It's been or having an offensive minded coach. It's been the defense.
Agreed.
That has been the biggest improvement to me for this team is that they're not putting
Hmm.
their team in position to lose. They're putting their team in position to win. Um, but yeah, we'll see how the rest of the season goes. But I'm just a little more confident right now. Oh, Andrew, this reminds me. I'm only saying this because I see the Cowboys right next to them. I did not give a shout out to Schottenheimer when we were talking about the Cowboys, but it's time to give a shout out to Schottenheimer.
Yes. Great. He's had a great coaching year so far.
I
Fantastic.
mean, that team should have been far worse. And
Hmm.
somehow he was still finding ways to win. I give Jones props for making the trades. I think it's put them back in contention. I still worry about the long-term aspect of those trades. I don't know how viable they'll be when we look at it 3 years
Hmm.
from now. But this season alone, it is allowing Schottenheimer to have a real shot to push this team into the playoffs. So I
I
wanted
will
to make sure
say
to give him respect for that.
absolutely. And to add on to that, especially if they win this week and they look like they could make the playoffs, even if it's just a wild card. But if the Cowboys make the playoffs, Schottenheimer should be definitely strongly in the Coach of the Year conversation. Ben
Oh yeah.
Johnson's probably going to win just because the Bears were last place laughingstock last year, and now he's got them to 9-3 and leading the NFC North, which was the toughest division last year. It's not the same this year, but he's probably going to win, and I don't disagree with that because he's turned that team around in 1 year. Awesome. But Schottenheimer should be in that conversation as well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, if I was going to vote right now, it'd be Sean McVay. Um, and
Mm,
it's just because of the fact I feel like the Rams are punching so much above their weight right now. And
hmm
a lot of that comes to coaching. Devonte Adams, there's questions about if he had anything left in the tank and if he was going to be good. He has looked great. Making the decision to move on from Cooper Kupp, great decision. Um, and I really think he deserves a lot of props for those. Oh, you know who else though? You got to give Sean Payton credit, man. I'm not a huge Sean Payton guy, but
Totally
and
fair.
Mike Vrabel, like those two guys, you got to put them in the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
For
yeah,
sure. Yeah. And honestly, it's probably the closest race between Mike Vrabel and Ben Johnson because they're both taking last place teams to, well, were the Patriots last place last year or was it the Jets? Might have been the Jets.
mm,
I'm not sure. But, a bad team last year to first place in your division, leading the conference, honestly. Um, yeah, you got to give them both a ton of credit, but I
Patriots are
think
the worst
probably
team
Ben
by one game.
by 1 game. Okay. Um, I'm probably leaning that Ben Johnson's probably going to win higher than Mike Vrabel because he's just as some people say, the sexier pick. He's the more fun
Yeah,
pick. But Mike Vrabel is right in that conversation as well. I just think that everyone thought the Patriots were a sneaky playoff team. I don't think anyone thought the Bears were, other than outside Bears fans. And right now, are they still first place in the conference? I think they are. So, got to give them credit
yeah.
there.
After the
But
Rams lost on Sunday, they're in first place.
yeah, we'll see what happens. But we should move on to the
Yes,
Pittsburgh Stumblers. Is that what you call them? And
and the
and the
Baltimore
Baltimore
Quavens.
Quavens. Oh man, that's so much fun. Yeah, so these are two teams with talent that aren't playing well. That's pretty much the great example to put it. But the Steelers, they now have Adam Thielen, so their receiving core is just set now. It's gonna
Stacked.
be it's gonna be stacked. It's nobody's gonna be able to stop it. Adam Thielen's gonna get like 4 targets. I mean, can you stop that? He's probably gonna drop 2 of them. It's funny because he has the high, now it's a very small sample size because he's had maybe 20 or 30 targets all year, but he has the highest percentage drop rate in the whole NFL right now of the amount of catchable targets, the highest percentage of drop rate. Now, again, that might be 3 drops. I think it's 4, I think, but yeah, he has not had a great year. And the whole thing was he wanted to play for a contender. Okay, he went to the Steelers, but it wasn't his decision. The Steelers claimed him.
Claimed him.
So thank you, Steelers. You saved us about 900K. Appreciate that. We didn't get our draft picks back, which that's a different conversation. But hey, we got 900K back. Appreciate that because if they didn't claim him before he hit waivers, then we wouldn't have got nothing. Um, so appreciate that. And then they cut Darius Slay, who went to the Bills. We didn't talk about that. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Hmm.
That he might be useful over there. And I don't know if you heard about this, but the Eagles put a claim out for him, but they didn't have enough priority. The Bills got him. So it's just lots of stuff going on. Um, and the Steelers picked up and put on the active roster Asante Samuel. So I thought, okay, I like that. That's probably why they got rid of Slay because Asante Samuel's coming and maybe he's healthy. But I think the Ravens are a slightly better team. And I like their quarterback better than Aaron Rodgers, which I probably like 31 quarterbacks better than Aaron Rodgers because whenever Aaron Rodgers is losing, he points this way instead of this way every time. So yeah, my
Well,
receivers
your
dropping the
hands
ball.
naturally go out, Andrew. So
Yes, they
the
go like
right thing to
that.
do.
So
Sorry, that's my
he
dad
is,
joke for this podcast.
there you go. He is such a poison to your locker room, man. If you're winning, it's great, but if you're losing, he is a cancer. So I'm going to go with the Ravens. I think they're the slightly better team, and we can talk about the Mark Andrews renewing his contract, which
Gosh.
I I agree with signing him to an extension because he's part of your core, but the amount of money is a different story because he is not worth that kind of money. But I do like him staying on the team because he is just part of that organization, part of that culture, and he's still playing at a decent level, but not at that contract. The money they paid him, that I don't agree with, but I do agree with an extension because, keep him there. He's a good player still. But I'm going to go with the Ravens. Not high confidence, but decent. I'm going with confidence of 8.
I think I'm a little lower than you on my confidence, but I'm going to go with the Quavens with a confidence of 5. Um,
Okay.
eh, I understand where you're coming from in the Mark Andrews contract. I am going to disagree, though. I think that it's the wrong move. Um, I, I I don't think Andrews has enough tank left, and I would rather give Isaiah Likely a chance to be the number one tight end and go pick up
hmm
someone else to take up his spot than continue to make Andrews the number one tight end.
I could say that the length of term I could disagree with as well because it's 3 years. If they gave him like
Yeah,
a 1 or 2 year extension, I'm like, oh yeah,
sure.
that's
I
great.
think
Three
if it,
years,
I mean, but it's
yeah,
it's an average of $13 million annually. It just
I
there's so
that
much
yeah,
about this contract that I
that's way too
just
high.
well, I mean, like, what are they doing? Like, did he not just have a kind of bad year this year? I think I guess touchdowns. He
He's
had
had a
five
few games.
touchdowns,
Yeah,
but overall, I would not say this is a $13 million
for
season. I
sure,
don't even think
for
this is a
sure.
$10 million season. It might not even be a
hmm
$6 million season. Um, I think teams make the mistake. You don't pay players for what they've done. You pay them for what they'll do. And if you don't go
hmm
in with the contracts with that mindset, you make mistakes. You do. You pull
Yeah.
on, they pull on your heartstrings. They pull on, well, they've done so much for the team, and we got to give them props. You can be grateful to a player. Like, for example, the Eagles letting Slay walk was the right decision. It
hmm
was. They did not need to pay him $5 to $6 million when he's arguably been one of the worst defenders in Pittsburgh. That could be scheme. It could be a lot of things. But, maybe coming back to Philly would have been a reset. I'm fine with the claim, but that's different than we're going to
hmm
pay you $5 to $6 million and make you the
For sure.
starter. The move that was wrong, and we've talked about, is Isaiah Rodgers. That was a mistake by the Eagles, and many Eagles fans wanted Isaiah Rodgers back. The Eagles just weren't willing to pay that price, which is to me foolish. And I think that was a very gettable
hmm
contract. There's one other aspect I want to talk about in this game, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers Mike Tomlin stuff. I don't know if you saw it come out, but both Harrison and Roethlisberger went on a podcast and basically said it's time to
Yeah,
let Tomlin go,
for sure.
um,
Yeah.
which is kind of surprising. I did not expect that to come from them at this
hmm
point, but that is a signal, I think, to the Pittsburgh leadership of it's time to part ways. I do like how they stressed don't fire him, agree to mutually part ways, and I think that that's the right call. I don't think Mike
Mm-hmm.
Tomlin's done anything to deserve being fired, but I think it's find a way to make it work. Either let him go to a different team and see if you could trade him,
hmm
or mutually agree to part ways. But this is not the future of the team anymore. I just think
Yeah.
the signing of Arthur Smith as their offensive coordinator was a mistake. Um, I don't think he has enough.
Bigger mistake was Rodgers, but that's a different story.
Well, I don't know if it was really a mistake. The things didn't fall their way. I mean, truly, there was not an option out there to me that was like this
They
could
could have
work.
drafted Jackson Dart.
Yeah, I guess they could have done that. That's fair. Um, and maybe they should have. I think they had buyer's remorse with Pickett,
Mm,
and that made him leery.
that's fair.
I did like Jackson Dart way more than Kenny Pickett, though. I felt like that he had a
Yeah.
much higher ceiling. But honestly, the whole entire NFL was low on the Dart draft pick. Like we have to acknowledge that. Like
hmm
when Dart's name came up for the Giants, a lot of people were like, "What are they doing? What are they thinking? They're so dumb. Why did they trade up in the first
Yeah.
round? He's not worth it."
Yeah. And there's that whole Shadur
Um,
Sanders slipping. Oh no, what's going on? He's slipping. Now you know why.
some people know why, Andrew. Other people
hmm
are believing another narrative, which that's fine. But yeah, I just uh, I did one part I did want to mention too on that whole podcast thing. I thought it was weird that they suggested him going to Penn State.
Penn
Like,
State, yeah.
I don't love that. To me, that's
Hmm.
disrespectful. And when the USC rumors came out about Mike Tomlin, he gave his "never say never, but never" quote,
Hmm.
which to me was awesome. It was one of the top, like,
Hmm.
it was almost as good as the Dennis Green "we are who they thought they were" moments at the mic. Like that
Hmm.
was legendary. But I think Mike Tomlin should go to another team.
I agree.
Um, like for example, if I'm the Bengals, unless the season turns around, Taylor is out. I'm done. I'm tired of the late starts. I'm tired of the blunders. You pair Mike Tomlin and Joe Burrow together, I think you could do some
Hmm.
damage.
Yep.
That is a team that sorely needs a defensive reset. Now, the only thing I would say if I'm the Bengals ownership is I'd be like, listen, Mike, you might be a great head coach, and you might also be similar to Nick Sirianni, but just like Nick Sirianni, we're taking away your ability to be able to choose your offensive coordinator for you.
You're not taking Arthur Smith with you.
Yeah, you can leave that man out on the street. So anyway,
Yeah.
I wanted to cover that real quick since that came up this week.
Hmm.
But
For
hoping
sure.
that Mike Tomlin can find a different situation that works better for him because I think that's where he's heading. He needs to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy. The Steelers have had three coaches in like 50 years. It's wild. Only three coaches in their entire history. That's just
That
what
just
they
speaks
do.
to their history. Their history is just
Hmm.
awesome, man. So much
Yep.
good history.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Let's move on to the Broncos at Raiders. I don't think we have to spend a whole lot of time here. I will say though, I'll give you a shout out to your call about the Rams and Panthers game last week. That was a close game. Panthers pulled out the win. Credit to them. And then I'm going to take a victory lap for the Broncos Commanders game last week. I said that's going to
Yes,
be a lot closer than people think.
you sure did.
Just because it just felt like this is a game that the Broncos aren't truly playing their best at, and they didn't play all that great. Commanders played pretty good. I don't think the Commanders still played great. I think it was more the Broncos weren't fully ready for that game, but that game was definitely losable. Credit to Nick Bonito with that pass swat at the end, going for two. And I have to say, I love going for two there. Good job, Commanders. Good job, Dan Quinn. Don't kick the extra point and continue this OT garbage. Go for the win. Let's go. Let's not wait any longer. I love that call. Great call, Dan Quinn. And I mean, if you look at the play, that running back was wide open,
Mhm.
wide open. If that ball gets like 2 more inches above, that's a 2 point conversion. Commanders win the game. But credit to Benito for knocking that down. I don't think the Broncos are going to let that happen again. That was probably kind of embarrassing in a way. I don't. The Commanders are a professional football team. They got some talent, but it's Marcus Mariota against a 3-8 team, and you almost lose when you're 9-2. Should be like favorites by over 10 points. So I think that was slightly embarrassing. I think they'll play better this game. They are definitely the better team. It is a division game though. So the Raiders aren't going to want to just lie down and do nothing, but it's Geno Smith against the Broncos defense. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. I know Brock Bowers is awesome and Genty is playing as hard as he can with as much room as he can, which is no room at all. But I'm going Broncos, and this is my confidence of 14.
Yeah, I have this as my confidence of 14 as well. I just think right now the Broncos are the clearly better team, and
Hmm.
they have the wrong Greg Olson in the booth for the Raiders, Andrew. And I'm not going to ever stop thinking that until the actual Greg Olson comes out of the Fox booth and becomes the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. Um, I love that guy. He's so good. He gave some really good analysis last week about why the Eagles went for two at the end of the game.
Hmm.
And that's not to say I agree with the call, but his analysis was just so in depth.
He's my favorite commentator. Much
He's
better
really
than
good.
Brady.
Yeah,
He's
he's really
much better
good.
than the Thursday night crew we got. But yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. So until things change up, and oh, you know what? I found this was interesting. Tom Pelissero might be my favorite reporter in the NFL right now. I think he
It's
is the
fair.
most in tune, truly. I think
Hmm.
Rappaport is good for. He's kind of turned into Schefter. He's not really good for these nitty gritty articles or stories. He's more kind
Hmm.
of like covering the big stories, making sure he finds out first that Micah Parsons is getting traded, but like the
Hmm.
details, like why did this happen? What's leading to this? So it was interesting how Pelissero talked in this podcast with Rich Eisen that the Raiders wanted Ben Johnson,
Hmm.
and they were doing everything they could to get Ben Johnson, but they wanted to interview him. And the Bears were like, "We don't need to interview you. We'll just hire you." And after the Bears got boat raced by the Lions last year, it's kind of understandable why they felt the way they did. But the whole reason they lost out was because Ben Johnson's like, "I'm walking into this job with the Bears.
Hmm.
I'm taking it." So he takes that door, and the Raiders had no backup plan. And it was very interesting. The way Pelissero said it was, if Ben Johnson's here, Pete Carroll's here. So they
Mm.
went a complete different direction. And the bridge that was supposed to get them back to more of where they wanted to be with Ben Johnson was Chip Kelly. Um, but interesting enough, Chip Kelly has had a hard time getting in the full play call to Geno Smith. So there are
Mm.
times where he's not pronouncing fully the play. And so Geno Smith is leaving it off as he's reading it into the huddle. And so wide receivers will not sometimes have assignments or the wrong assignment. So that's been very interesting to me. Like this is an interesting dynamic into what some of the meltdown has been in that for that team. But I think Chip Kelly is officially done in the NFL. I don't think he's coming back. I think this
I
was it.
completely agree. I completely agree. In fact, I don't even know if he should be going back to college. I'm sure he'll get a job because he still has the name factor. And Ohio State, when he was with them, did really well.
Okay.
They played really
Yeah.
well. But that's Ohio
Uh-huh.
State. That's a lot of talent. So he'll get a job somewhere, but I definitely agree. It should not be in the NFL.
Yeah.
And speaking of Ben Johnson, we're going to go to Bears at Packers. This is one of the marquee matchups. It's this one and then one other one, which I'm really looking forward to. Um, so the Bears, give them credit where credit's due. They're 9-3. They just find ways to win, even though they aren't the better team when they're playing the game. They find the way to win, and that goes down to coaching and development. When you're not the better team and you're still winning, that's coaching. So I give a lot of credit to Ben Johnson. I didn't think it would work for his first year. And the first few games, it looked pretty bad. It looked like it could be right, but they turned things around. Yes, they had a soft schedule, but you still have to win these games. And he's found ways to win. Even when it looks bad, even like against the Raiders, they're about to lose. The players block that field goal because they believe in their coach. So give credit to Ben Johnson. He's had an amazing year coaching this team. Their run game I mean, this is goes to show how good of a coach you are. Against the Vikings, they didn't run the ball very well. They didn't run the ball very much. They kind of were balanced, found ways to do it just enough here or there to win. Against the Eagles, they focused on running the ball and they got over 280 yards rushing because that's what they kept going over and over. So he changed his scheme in the middle of the season. That's great coaching right there. So give him credit there, but still his team is not as good as the Packers. I will still pretty much take every position group of the Packers over the Bears, maybe outside offensive line. Bears have a good offensive line. But receivers, it's probably even, like dead set even. Outside of tight ends, I do like Colston Loveland. So with the Tucker Craft injury, the Bears pass catchers might be better, but not by much. But definitely quarterback, definitely defensive line, secondary linebackers, all that. I'm going Packers all day long. It's at Lambeau. I think this is finally the game where the Bears get shown that, hey, you're a good team, you're coached well, you have a great record, but you're not on the same ballpark as the elite teams. Like the Eagles had every chance to win that game last week. They should have, but their offense was just in its own way time and time again. Even with getting 281 yards rushing against you, Eagles still should have won that game. So I'm going
Mhm.
Packers to win at home with a confidence of 10.
Packers confidence at 12. Um, I tip my hat to the Bears. They won that game.
Hmm.
They deserve to win the game. But this does not look like an unstoppable team to me.
Agreed.
And also Lambeau is one of the toughest places to play. Um,
Hmm.
it is. It's a tough place to win, have success. But this is where I think the Bears get humbled. I think the Bears go on a little bit of tumble I think they'll lose the division. The only question I have in my mind is who wins the division. Is it the Packers or the Lions? That's the two teams right
Yeah.
now I'm between,
Yeah,
and I
I
don't know.
probably go Packers because the Lions are. I still say the Lions have end up with a better record than the Bears, or they tie. Um, but yeah, I think it's go Packers, Lions, Bears, Vikings. I think that's how it's going to go.
I think it's
And the
fair.
Bears and Lions probably get in the playoffs.
Well, one thing that's an underrated factor that I kind of forgot as I was saying that was the Packers have the outright tie or win over the Bears or the Lions in tiebreakers because they won both games.
Hmm.
Which
Hmm.
can you believe that? Can you believe that the Packers won their both matchups against the Lions? That's crazy. We need to bring Steven on to talk about how the season's getting been, man, because what a season for the Packers. Really, it's
Yep,
it's been an awesome season.
and it's been that defense mainly, man. That Micah Parsons pickup we knew would be good, but I didn't think I anticipated this much of an improvement to that defense. Like the amount of pressure they get is insane because you have to put two or three guys. Like I remember there was when the Vikings were playing the Packers and Micah Parsons was just wreaking havoc. There was at one point in the second half I was watching, I was like, we literally have three offensive linemen blocking Micah Parsons right now. Everyone else is one on one. Three guys on Parsons. I was like, that goes to show you his effect. Because we had two guys on him. He was still getting through. We had to put three guys on him. That was wild.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. We have a few games left here. Next up is going to be the Cardinals at, or the Rams at the Cardinals, excuse me. Rams at the Cardinals. If the Rams would have won last week, I would have thought that this could be a really interesting game. But since the Rams lost, I'm not saying it was embarrassing because the Panthers are they're a talented team. They're feisty.
No.
It's, winning in the NFL is tough. But since the Rams lost and they're literally like tied with 19 million teams for first place in their division or the conference. There's so many 9-3 teams in NFC right now. They have to win. They have to get back to playing Rams football. And I think they do it here. The Cardinals are a tough team. They play well against everybody, but they don't stack up talent wise against the Rams. And coming off that loss, I think the Rams are going to try to make a statement. Matthew Stafford, 32 touchdowns, four picks, just insane. Even though he had a bad game last week for his standards, still overall insane. I have the Rams win this game. I don't really need to say much more. I have this as a confidence of 12.
I got a confidence of 13 for the Rams. And by the way, I just want to get in front of this because Dallin was giving me crap. I don't care how bad Matt Stafford played. He's still the MVP. He's still the MVP. He had one
Absolutely.
bad game, and he's still
Hmm.
playing out of his mind this year. 32
Hmm.
touchdowns to four interceptions is unreal. Um,
Yeah.
and for the Drake May supporters out there, I've seen the Drake May interceptions, and they are pretty maddening as well. Yes, recently he hasn't had those, but he has more. He has more interceptions, and he doesn't have nearly as many touchdowns as Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford is looking like he's looking like an old man playing at a young age. I
Hmm.
really can't believe it. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got a hold of Benjamin Button and got some of that and that de-aging juice, or
Hmm.
maybe he's been keeping in touch with Tom Brady and Tom Brady's sharing some secrets with him. I don't know what he's doing, but he is playing amazing. And by the way, I just wanted to say this too. I think it's an important thing. Matt Stafford is a class act for not throwing his teammates under the bus. And I
For
think he
sure.
deserves so much credit for that because, I think about that loss to the Eagles last year in the divisional round, right? He could have blamed the offensive line. They weren't protecting me. They didn't set up the right formations. Receivers dropped balls, but he, in a classy manner, you know, he
Hmm.
he reminds me a lot of Eli Manning in the sense of he just does the job, and he doesn't get a lot of appreciation for it compared to other quarterbacks. And I've always
Hmm.
kind of felt that way to some degree. I wasn't. I still felt like maybe some ways that he might be overhyped stats wise, but success wise, I think that there's been there. Like he's been consistent, but I just want to give him props for that. I really thought he was
For
on the
sure.
way down, and he's
Yeah.
proved he's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to call last
Yeah.
week an outlier. I don't think that that's the real thing. I think we've seen too much of
Yeah.
Matt Stafford playing amazing to not give him credit.
Absolutely. And I will also point out schedule is a big factor as well. The Rams
Yes.
have had a tough schedule. They played a lot of tough teams. Patriots, not so much. They played the Bills, yes, and they beat down the Panthers early in the season before the Panthers really started rolling.
Yeah, but that's yeah, exactly. Right.
So I this strength of schedule is huge as well. Matt
Yeah,
Stafford's been doing this against good teams. He did against the Eagles. He did
absolutely.
against the Buccaneers. He did against the
Yeah.
Seahawks. Got to give
Well, I
credit.
mean, in that Buccaneers game, I mean, the two games that stand on my mind was the San Francisco 49ers late afternoon game, where he just
Hmm.
absolutely train wrecked the team, and then this one. Both of those games, he has looked so good. I mean, I don't know who's going to beat the Rams. To me, it's the Rams world. It's the Rams world, and everyone's living in it in terms of the
That's
NFC.
fair. That's fair.
Um, I know the Bears have the same record. I know the Packers are right behind them, but
I would say
love
right now
love
the only
Stafford.
team that could compete is probably the Packers because of their defense. Like
Yeah,
if
but it's because
Micah
of the defense.
Parsons is the only player that can stop Matt Stafford right now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Well, I think the defensive line of the Packers, they work as a unit, and that's what's made him so
That's fair.
good.
That's fair.
Parsons is a leader, but it takes all of them to be able
Hmm.
to get to the quarterback.
Yep. Yep. All right. We have three more games to go. Sunday night football, Texans at Chiefs. This is going to be fun as well. Chiefs coming off that really tough loss against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. That was a good game. Credit to the Cowboys for pulling it off. I didn't think they would, but they pulled it off. This is going to be strength of the Texans versus kind of the weakness of the Chiefs right now, for right now, because their rookie tackle Simmons is going to be out for the next 4 weeks. And so they got to block this pass rush, which is might be the best in the NFL with Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. So good luck. Good luck, Patrick Mahomes. Hopefully you can get the ball out quickly because if not, you're going to be hurting in this game. One thing is, it is at Kansas City, and it's really hard to win at Kansas City if you're the road team. But man, I don't know. I just like where the Texans are at right now. CJ Stroud, I think, is going to play this game, but still, the difference between him and Davis Mills wasn't like huge. I definitely prefer CJ Stroud, 100%. He is the better player, but the drop off wasn't bad. So credit Davis Mills. He did what he had to do. Woody Marks is playing really well as well. I think he's being undervalued. He's been playing out of his mind for this Texans team. Nico Collins is healthy. I like the Christian Kirk addition. He's played pretty decent out of the slot.
Yeah, kind of surprising, huh?
Yeah, the Chiefs, I know they're desperate for a win. If they lose here, they're pretty much out of the playoffs. But man, I like this Texans defense, and I think it's just a bad time for the Chiefs because of those injuries to the offensive line. I'm gonna go Texans this game. This is another one of my upset picks. I'm going Texans with a confidence of 5.
Interesting. I'm gonna go Chiefs confidence of 6. Um, the Chiefs need to win. They absolutely need
Yeah.
to win. I expect it to be a close game. But right now, I'd say the Chiefs have played better than the Bills, and the Bills lost to the Texans. I think the Chiefs are just good enough to pull this game out. It will be close. It
Okay.
will be a fight, but I, I don't know. I'm looking at this year as I don't value record as much compared to
Mm.
some past years. I feel like record's been telling the story. But like right now, right? The Eagles are 8-4. But are they playing 8-4? The Chiefs are 6-6. But are they playing 6-6? Panthers are 7-6. But are they 7-6? I don't think so. I think it's more complicated than that. I think there's only a few teams that are playing true to their record. Patriots, overall the Broncos, and the Rams. I think are playing true to their record right now. Bears, um, it's tough. I don't think so. I think they
Hmm.
deserve credit for these games they've won, but is this a team that's going to go deep in the playoff? The Chiefs are showing fight, man. This is Andy Reid's team. He's
There.
made it very clear this is Andy Reid's
Yeah.
team. I expect
Hmm.
that to continue. Um, I do think that the Steve Spagnuolo is a good person to make any quarterback for the Texans uncomfortable. I still believe in him as a defensive
Hmm.
coordinator. I think they're a little down on talent this year, but I wouldn't count out the Chiefs quite yet for being able to win this game.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. It was coin flippy for me as well, but I went with the defense pass rush against the O line that's hurt.
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Okay. Now let's get to our teams. We'll start with Commanders at Vikings. So Commanders played well last week. They fought hard against a really good defense against the Broncos, but I mean, their offense wasn't humming, but it was
Mhm.
doing what it had to do, getting some third downs. Their defense was playing pretty decent, but that was because Bo Nix wasn't playing all that great. But they just, as overall as a team, they played hard. They were well coached. You can tell the players still believe in him and Dan Quinn, even though they're 3-9 right now out of the playoffs. And Jaden Daniels is practicing again. But this is another one of those scenarios where two things are going to happen. One, I don't know if I would bring him back this year because you're 3-9. I don't think they're mathematically eliminated right now, but you're eliminated. Let's just be real. You're not making the playoffs with 9 losses. Um, and he's been injury prone this year, so I kind of feel like just let him sit out the rest of the year, get
Hmm.
completely healthy. Next year's our
Hmm.
year. But they're practicing him on a limited basis, so he might be playing in this game. It's hard to say, but the other thing that's going to happen, if he plays in this game, he's been out for like 4 or 5 weeks. He's probably going to be a little bit rusty, kind of like Joe Burrow last week was a little rusty. Still a better quarterback than Marcus Mariota, but I just don't think he's going to be full on in this game if he plays. And if he doesn't play, it's going to be Mariota again, who has 9 touchdowns and 6 picks. And I wasn't like
It's
impressed
not
with this.
bad.
It's not bad, but
Yeah.
it's not great. And I wasn't like impressed with his game against the Broncos. It was good enough to put them in positions to win. But watching the game, I was like, yeah, he looks like an 34-year-old backup. Like he is. Um, he used his legs some, which was impressive. He got some first downs with his legs. That was awesome. But I wasn't completely sold on him as a player that's going to win games for you. They almost won last week, but I think that was more the Broncos weren't set up for it. One thing I will say for the Vikings, though. So it's been a really bad year. And like I've said over and over, it's been mainly on the coaching staff, developing players, play calling, getting in the right situation. Because you're watching these games and they're close a lot of times. And then some really poor decision gets called and it totally swings the game. And you're like, what are we
Hmm.
doing? And then the players get dejected because they practice so hard. And then something happens that it just flips the game around and they're just not fully on board this season. I'll give credit to KOC for this. We'll see if it's true or not. But in his press conferences this week, he has said that he needs to change the way he leads this team and coaches this team and calls plays. He needs to kind of, I don't want to say dumb it down, but maybe like get it a little bit more simplified for his quarterbacks because he hasn't done that all year. And he's been talking about the short to intermediate game all press conferences this week, which I think is way too late, way overdue. But coaches are stubborn. KOC is very stubborn. But he's finally talking about incorporating the short game, checkdowns, making sure that McCarthy knows don't overthink it. Get the ball out of your hands. Don't continue to look downfield and see if it's developing when you're not truly knowing what you're seeing. Get the ball out of your hands. Get it to your guys. Let them make the plays. Finally, he's saying that. I don't think he said that all year long, especially in the locker room. He's probably been saying, no, we're wanting those big, deep plays. We're wanting those electric plays. And these young quarterbacks don't know what they're seeing yet, especially at 22 years of age, barely played any college. So he's finally going to simplify things. At least that's what he says. I still believe he will. If he doesn't this week, then he won't all year long, the rest of the year. That's it. Um,
Hmm.
he's going against the Commanders defense, which is fine. Not great, but it's fine. It's got some pieces, but it's nothing that we're scared of. Um, so I'm going to make a bold statement. I think this is the game where Justin Jefferson gets over 100 yards and gets in the end zone again. Which, I mean, to have that bold of a statement for Justin Jefferson is wild because I don't think he's done it all year. So I think Jefferson gets back on track. I'm picking the Vikings to win this game with a confidence of 7. I'm still believing in JJ McCarthy, and the only reason I'm picking them to win is because KOC's statement that he's
Brent
going to
Andrews.
simplify things, and our defense is playing out of their mind. I think they're going to be able to control the Commanders. I don't think the Commanders' offense is going to do a whole lot this game, and I think our offense is going to do enough to win.
Well,
Now, I
and
don't
when
know
you're
if we
sort of
should win. I think probably losing is the better option right now because we're not in the playoff contention, and getting a higher draft pick is probably a better choice. But I think they're going to pull this one out.
hmm, good for you on your optimism in your team, buddy. That's what I'll say. Good for you and your optimism. I will disagree and say I'm going to pick the Commanders with a confidence of 9. I think the Commanders are a better team, and I think that they are a victim to injuries and schedule. I think that this is a better team. The Commanders should have been a more competitive team this year. Things just did not work out for them. Didn't come
Hmm.
together. Um, but also, I give the coaching advantage to Dan Quinn right now.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
and
I'm with you on that.
I think that's the biggest factor is I don't think KOC is coaching well right now.
Hmm.
It sounds like maybe he's kind of turning a new leaf. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it, Andrew.
That's fair.
I'll you know
Yeah.
I'll believe it when I
One part I
see
will
him act
disagree
a little
with
maybe
is I think
change.
the Vikings are the better team than the Commanders, at least talent wise. And Vegas kind of agrees because we're 2.5 point favorites at home. But I 100% agree with the coach. We're definitely outcoached in this game, at least this year. But I like what KOC said, and I still believe in this guy. I still believe in JJ McCarthy, not nine. He needs to get rid of that nine thing. But I still believe in him because he's shown parts that he's played well. And if KOC truly simplifies the offense, I think McCarthy can have a pretty decent game. Because Commanders
Yeah,
defense doesn't like frighten me. They're not going to be able to get in McCarthy's face all game long with their pass rush. The pass rush isn't elite. They're fine. That's not like we're playing the Packers and Seahawks defense. So I think this is a game that Minnesota can pull this one out.
yep.
Okay. Last but certainly not least, Eagles at Chargers. So it sounds like the coach for the Chargers, Harbaugh, is kind of being coy and not saying what Herbert's going to be doing coming off that surgery on his hand. He's probably going to play, but I think he is not going to be the Justin Herbert of old. I know it's his
Yes.
non-throwing hand, but that still controls the ball, controls the snap. I think that is the key thing for me in this game. It's at Chargers, but I mean, LA is not really a home game for these teams because it's going to be a lot of green in there. That's what I'll say. A lot of Eagles fans will show up. It'll be more Chargers, but it's not like a true home game.
Andrew, that might be to the disadvantage for the Eagles.
That's fair. That's fair. But I think the two key factors in this game, the Justin Herbert injury and the Chargers tackles have been savaged by injuries all year long, going up against a really good Eagles pass rush. I think the Eagles pass rush is going to control this game, get to Herbert enough to limit the Chargers offense. I think Hampton will be back this game for the Chargers, which is helpful. Really good running back, so they're going to try to focus on the run game. Hopefully, the Eagles' run defense can be better than last week. But I think the Eagles' defense plays well enough to pull out a win in this game. I don't know how well the offense is going to play because the Chargers have a good defense, and like we've seen, the offense has been really sketchy. But I like the Eagles' defense controlling this game against the Chargers. I have the Eagles winning with a confidence of 6.
And I'm going Eagles with the confidence of one, Andrew. They are losing sometimes, huh? My son, for those that can't see us, my son decided to be a late guest to the show, just in time for us to make our pick for our team, huh?
Hmm.
Are the Eagles going to win or the Chargers going to win? Yeah, we'll see. We're picking, we're picking two picks and we got our pick. Yes. In my family, Andrew, we do weekly football picks, and we
Okay.
pick these. We pick the score we predict each team to win by. By my, so we pick my numbers. Yes. What are you going to pick the Eagles by? I didn't pick them. You're going to give the number? I put the one the black Eagles on the green. Yes. Yep, you can see my Eagles pick on the screen. I've got the Eagles by one, Andrew.
Okay.
I want to have more confidence. I right now we're at a point where the Eagles choose to either rebound and not be the team of 2023, or we do a full meltdown of 2023. Sometimes they go down. Sometimes they go down the store like that. Mm-hmm. The tush push. Is that what you're talking about? Yes. Oh, yes, they do. Yes. They go down on the knee when they do that. Mhm. Well, you heard it here first, Andrew. Landon's predicting a touchdown tush push style for the Eagles, which means that Jalen Hurts is going to at least get some fantasy points. So
Okay, that'd be great.
we'll see if that happens. I Here's one thing I will say though in particular. AJ Brown is the leader in penalties for our team. He's got to stop with the false starts.
Mm,
I've been
hmm
digging into this, and he's got a couple other penalties. Offensive PI, which I think was trash.
That
But
was a bad call. How do you call that and not call the one against Colson Loveland later in that game where he did the same thing and the Eagles defender truly fell down. The Bears defender flopped. That was bad.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's another one too. I think it was against Devontae Smith that
Yeah, so
there's
that
a
was
pass interference,
egregious and they didn't
and
call
they
it.
just
It
totally
was so
didn't
bad.
call it. But you
Yeah,
know what?
that
You
was
have
so
to play
bad.
better than the refs. You have to play better
That's
than the
fair.
refs. You have to play better than the
Hmm
other team. No excuses. I do think the Eagles have a chance to pull this out. But here's the problem, Andrew. If they lose this game, it's over. I'm done. I will not be
Yeah.
picking them to win um, until they show how to win. But I'm tired of hearing about how hard they're working. It's time to put the effort in on the football field. Enough talk.
hmm
Enough. No, no, no. And I put the drone on the top to help. And I put the drone so the football, so the, the football, so the they can so the so and the drone, but how they the drone was going to place the planes. He's saying that we've gotten to some things where the drone's being used for like recording from up top to get different angles of
Okay.
how the plays unfold.
That
So
is true.
apparently a drone's going to be involved in this football game too.
Yes, it's probably going to
Only for night.
zoom in close on the tush push touchdown.
Only drones are not for mornings. Yes. But that is my take, Andrew. There's more we could dig into, but we can do that on our next episode. The
Yeah.
Landon took over the Sayer segment for
hmm
picks for the
Yes,
Eagles
he
game
did.
this week.
Yes, he did. And it was very good information. And we probably need to include him more often because he's got some really good insights.
Yes, I did not expect Tush Push to come up from him. That was a surprise, but
Hmm
you never know what your
hmm
kids are paying attention to. So shout out to all parents. Make sure you're being on your best vigilance to not say anything that you would not want your kids saying at all times, even if it's just a funny
Absolutely.
joke.
Absolutely.
So yes, yeah,
Well, this has been fun. We'll see how we do. Hopefully, our teams get a win. Um, and we'll look forward to week 15. Hopefully, the Eagles are 9-4 going into week 15. Um, but thank you guys for joining us in this episode of the Gridiron Grind with Andrew and Lance. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you next time.
we'll see everybody. You want to wave goodbye?